So starting on Fracture B site, the first step you want to do is you want to come over here, put a trip off the corner of the box like so, pair it with a cage, and then put a trip off of the wall here. It's a little bit tricky, but you line yourself with the corner of that dot like so, and then just look up until the tripwire shows. And pair this trip with a cage in the choke. And finally, you're going to put a cam off the corner of the building. So starting off when entering B, I like to start the round standing directly under stairs, because I found it's one of the positions that's least likely to get util dumped. But depending on how the enemy plays, it can be important to swap up your positioning to either behind dice, or tucked on the default plant, or in heaven. All these positions can work with this setup. The camera you're using is slightly more aggressive than some of the other alternative cameras you can use, so it's more likely to get shot out, but it does give you better timing for when to pop these cages with choke and spam. Now, once your first cage is run out, or they've run through it, you can pop your second, spam the players who walk inside of it, get a free kill off the trip, and then you have the option to either reposition to dice or runaway heaven. If the enemy team is doing a lot of 4-1 splits, a good variation you can do is either placing a trip there at the start of the round, or moving your cam to this position. You can then position yourself in tower or behind the boxes below. From these positions, your opponent being distracted by the camera tag or having to break the tripwire can give you a very advantageous timing to take a 1v1. If the enemy team likes sending players from arcade to site, a variation you can do is placing a cage on top of the corner of the box like so, and pairing it with either of the following two trips. You can use this cage to just stall and get a kill off your trips, but this cage is also really strong for ratting around inside of, in my opinion, being able to work around dice and get good timings. And if the enemy team like to push tower, the best adaptation in my opinion is simply just to put a cage in a trip like so. Based on how the enemy has been playing, if you feel confident full committing to a tower setup, here's a really strong one you can do. The first thing you want to do is line yourself up with the crack against the wall here, look up, and place your crosshair like so. Next, you're going to want to place your second cage on the dot on the second to the top stair. For tripwires, it's not too important which ones you use, but these are the two I like to throw. And finally, for your camera, you can throw either of the two ones from before, or you can place one here. This camera both spots your tower flank and gives you good timing for when to pop your one-way like so. Once you get a kill with your one-way, just play to spam off your tripwires. This cage can be used to spam off your tripwires, but it also has the added perk of giving you the ability to silent drop below. For a really powerful retake setup, you're going to start by banking a cage on top of the box like so, really simple, and then pairing it with another cage, banking it inside of this pipe. For your camera, it depends on how the enemy team likes to play. If the enemy team hard rushes, I like to place it inside of here, and save it until after plant to give you info for in tower and for default plant. And if the enemy team plays more defaulty, I will throw any of the other three cams from before, mainly this one though. And finally, for tripwires, I throw any combination of the following. Some of these trips may seem weird, but believe me, I've put so many hours into testing these trips, these are the ones that work by far the best. So when the round starts, you just want to play around this cubby like so in canteen and spam off your trips, and hold for the player who might lurk through the canteen smoke. Once your teammates from A have rotated over and the smokes are about to drop, you can pop your cam for info inside of sight. Using this info, you can try to get a timing to pop your one-way for heaven and get a kill. Then you can scale up sight with your team, pop your second one-way for default plant, and kill anyone that's still sitting there. For a backside A setup, first, come to the bottom of the stairs here, like so, and aim your crosshair right in the middle of this divot and throw for an easy one-way. For your second cage, you're just going to want to throw it below you in this area like so. And then for trips, you can put one on top of the Radiant box here, and one trip to watch the dish push. And finally, for your camera, as soon as the round starts, you're going to want to run and throw it in this corner like so. Because this site is so difficult to anchor as Cypher, you need to get info as early as possible so that your teammates can rotate fast. Once you get the early info, your goal is just to stall long enough for your teammates to rotate over and help you. To achieve this goal, we have a one-way in the choke that will stall them out for 7 seconds, and if they do happen to push inside of it, gets you a free kill. Once the one-way runs out, or if they happen to push through it, you have a cage on site that also lets you work around it and stall the enemy. If they walk inside of it, you get a free kill off your trip, and this cage can also be used as a head glitch for drop. For playing Retake A, start by placing any combination of the following trips. To pair with these trips, you're going to want to place a cage in top site like so. Next, you're going to want to come to the top ropes, line your crosshair up like so, and as soon as the round starts, throw. And finally, you're going to want to place your camera here while jumping down. From here, all you have to do is plane your camera and tag the door and open your one-way whenever you hear footsteps to get a free kill. After that, you just play off your tripwires. You can either stay and stand here, or you can reposition into CT and play off of them. And finally, when it's time to retake, you have your cage on site to pop and help your teammates scale up. And for the final piece of your tool, here's a camera that gives you really early info on dish. You're going to want to start by lining yourself on the dot like so, and then backing up until your UI is like mine. Next, you're going to want to line your crosshair onto the edge of the metal, and look down until it touches the bottom of the gray streak. And that's everything. And you know, the basic stuff, if you enjoyed, it would mean a lot if you liked, subbed, comments, etc. Peace.